This video I'll show you how to add some of the mates to the post subassembly. So let's see, start by, let's put the bottom of this, be careful you don't over constrain this thing from the beginning, because you got to keep in mind, so I'm going to constrain or mate the bottom of that to the bottom of that, is you got to make sure that you get these bolts in here. So like while these, let's get out of there. So while these can move, the center distances can't change. So this will be able to move back and forth on that plate until those line up. So that's what I would focus on right now. So I got the bottom of the tube to the top of that plate constrained. Now I'm going to go and mate these bolt holes. Oops. I already must have had something selected. Okay, let's start again. That bolt hole to that bolt hole. And let's see, I should have probably, well, I can move this thing. Maybe it's not necessary. Let's see, and the other one, let's do that bolt hole to that bolt hole. And let's see what we have here right now. Let's see what kind of movement we can still get with this. I don't have any side to side mates, that's what I was thinking before. So if I go that to that, say okay, now let's see what happens here, because I might, yeah, I'm gonna, if I try to mate this inside to that, I'll have a problem. I can leave it like this, or I could mate center line of this to the center line in between there. So I like, that's a better constraint actually. So let's create a plane, a mid plane between there and there, and then let's see what else we may have. Where is our tube here? I probably gonna have a mid plane. If not, I'll just make one. Yeah, there we go. So let's just mate. I'm gonna have to turn on my planes. View, hide show, make sure planes are turned on in your assembly. Okay. So let's just mate that mid plane to that mid plane. There we go. That's better. Now everything's symmetrical. Turn those off. So let's see what, so we should be good. Yes, so now everything is fixed. The bolts will be able to go in there. We should be fine in terms of that part. Now ultimately you'd probably weld that on the bottom, but we're not going to worry about that for our assembly drawing. So let's continue. I'm going to also constrain this post pivot to the top of the plate, and I'll do the same thing. I have a mid plane on the post pivot, mid plane on that plate there. I'll constrain those, or sorry, mate those together. Just turn those off for now. So I can also mate top of that, I'm sorry, the bottom of that to the top of that. So that's good. The problem is, how am I gonna mate this thing? And I have a similar problem that I had on that bottom mainframe when we were working on that before, in that because of this angle, I need something else to work with. So let's see, what we're gonna do is, on this post, let's see if we got a plane. Let's use that plane and post pivot. Pivot plate or pivot post or whatever. There we go. That one. Oops. That's not it. That one right there. So the problem is they're on a different angle right there. So we're going to need to either pivot this plane here or pivot that plane there so that we can mate those two together. So let's look at our post drawing now. We know that that cut, if you check your drawings there, you'll see that that's a 7-degree angle cut here. So what I want to do is rotate that by 7 degrees. So I'm going to need an axis. So I can use this plane and I can use the top surface to create an axis there, and then I'm going to do, click the wrong thing, and then I'm going to create a plane. Let's pivot, take that plane, pivot around that axis. So if you click on the plane and the axis, the software knows you're trying to do a pivot around that point. And in this case, it's going to be 7 degrees, and I believe that's the right direction. Let's see, let's go back to our assembly now and see what this looks like. Update that. Make that thing bigger. Can't see it. Okay. There we go. So you can see that's the plane on the post. That's the plane on that plate. And what we're going to do is just mate those two planes. And everything will be centered. So that's how you do that.